Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings. Thanks for being here. My name is Stefano. I am a postdoc researcher at the Politecnico di Milano, which is Italy's largest technical university. We have like 42,000 students. And I'm also the CTO of a small consultancy called Secure Network, based in Milano, Italy. The argument of my talk today is anomaly detection, and for those of you who maybe already know me, this is not surprising, but what I will present today is anomaly detection through a particular type of system call argument analysis. And my outline is I will begin by building a case for anomaly detection systems. Why do we need them? Bear with me if you already heard me ranting here on Focus IDS mailing lists on this topic, because I use this part of the presentation to draw forth some requirements that are the ones that I try to fulfill with my research. Then I will present to you the state-of-the-art algorithms for detecting intrusions through anomaly detection on in host-based IDSs. In particular, the ones dealing with system calls. And we will see that there are a lot of systems analyzing sequences of system calls, and a few systems, a couple, analyzing arguments. And I will show you how we combined both of these directions along with some other tricks in order to try to create an algorithm which can detect intrusions in an unsupervised manner. The defender's problem is one of the oldest in the art of war. The problem can be stated as the fact that the defender needs to plan for everything. So when you defend a system, you need to check every single part of it for possible vulnerabilities, while the attacker needs to find just one attack point. That's why I became a penetration tester instead of being a security administrator. It's far easier to become a penetration tester. Being overconfident is the common mistake of defenders. And there are a lot of examples. One example I particularly like is the battle between King Darius of Persia against Alexander Magnus in Gaugamela Plains, 331 before Christ. Darius had already been beaten by Alexander in a couple of narrow valleys. So he thought that he should choose better the next terrain for the next ground for their encounter. He spent 6 months raising every single hill and rock of Gaugamela Plains to the ground. So basically, after 6 months of works, Gaugamela Plains was exactly like a billiard pool, totally plain. And in these plains, he fought against Alexander with an army which outnumbered Alexander by 5 to 1. And being outnumbered 5 to 1 in a huge desert plain means being dead, basically. What happened is history. Alexander charged straight to the middle of the Persian army, of the huge Persian army. And basically what Darius understood was that Alexander had accepted to die, but he wanted to kill him before dying. So he was charging in direction of his throne. And what Darius did was what every common man would have done. He fled. And when Darius fled, the Persian army dissolved. And, well, if you wonder about the sword of Darius, 3 months later, it was found, well, his head was found over the top of a pool. It was probably killed by one of his own lieutenants. Anyway, just not to end up like Darius, the key is acting sensibly. We cannot amass an army of firewalls, intrusion prevention systems, whatevers, which is large enough to protect us against all enemies. And acting sensibly is really the key, and I suggest you, I point you out to Beyond Fear by Bruce Schneier, which is a must read, in my opinion, for anyone who works in security. I like to quote the Murphy's Law on complex systems, which states that the only difference among the system that can fail and the system that cannot possibly fail is that when the system that cannot possibly fail fails, it fails in an unforeseen manner which is totally devastating and impossible to repair. Many security systems are just like this. Many security systems have concentrated every effort on defense, every effort usually on perimeter security. Sometimes some effort goes into building secure systems inside the perimeter. But often we forget to take into account that at some point in time, our system will, not can, will be broken into by someone who is smarter than us or simply has more time to try to attack our systems than the time we have to spend trying to defend it. So, the mantra of the security experts should be plan for the worst and pray it doesn't get even worse than that. And to do this, we have to design systems that can, of course, withstand attacks and fail slowly, fail gracefully. We cannot have brittle systems that once that one of their components is compromised, fail totally. We must design systems that are capable of recovery, so systems that can be restored to their previous state without too much effort. But we must also think of designing systems that are tamper evident, which means systems where intrusions can be detected. And computer systems per se are not tamper evident. They are the less tamper evident thing of the world. So we need things, we need systems that alert us whenever our systems are broken into. An intrusion detection system is just like that. It's a system, not a software. IDS software is one of the components of an intrusion detection system. But an IDS is a system that tries to find out if an information system on the whole has been compromised. As such, an intrusion detection system is a complex part of your network, of your computer security infrastructure. The so-called IDS software, they are just a component of a good intrusion detection system. Because an intrusion detection system usually closes its loop on a human being. What I mean is that a skilled human, such as most of the people attending this conference, looking at logs in a system, is an intrusion detection system. A skilled network administrator, again, as many of you, looking at TCP dump is an intrusion detection system. How many times did you detect something anomalous on your network simply because you fired up TCP dump and you spotted a single packet in a flow which was not supposed to be there? Other forms of intrusion detection systems apply. A company maintaining and monitoring a firewall is an intrusion detection system of sort. The one thing which is not an intrusion detection system is a software you bought, you placed it on a PC, or you bought directly an appliance, you plugged it into your network, and you put it on a shelf. That's not an intrusion detection system. If no one is getting information out of that box, that's not an intrusion detection system. An intrusion detection system is a component of a more complex security infrastructure, and it's the last component of a security infrastructure, actually. So when you have done everything else, you will begin to do IDS. If you have not done your firewalls, if you have not done your basics, then IDSs are useless. And an IDS is not designed to substitute a firewall or to be compared to a firewall. Some years ago, a couple of years ago, Gartner produced a report where they said money slated on intrusion detection should be better spent on firewalls. Yeah. That means a couple of things. First thing, money slated on Gartner reports will be better spent on firewalls. And the second thing is, if you think that an intrusion detection system, whether or not you dub it again into intrusion prevention system, is going to help you prevent attackers getting into your network, you are up for a huge surprise. Because intrusion detection systems have been designed since their first inception to alert you of a compromise which has already been done. So, detection should come together with reaction. Reaction is needed to make intrusion detection systems efficient. So, this brings me up to a point. The intrusion detection system must give out actionable results. So you must you need to have a system which gives you the information you need to counter an attack. If your system does not give you this information, then it's not a good intrusion detection system. Another thing that I'd like to point out is that reaction without human supervision is a dream. The network defense itself, spots by Cisco and others, well, they are dreams. So if you want to buy dreams, by all means, go ahead. But in general, when I speak of reaction, I don't mean an intrusion detection system automatically doing something. I mean an intrusion detection system giving a network administrator the tools in it for getting his job done. So, in order to introduce you to my research, and knowing that many of you maybe already know this, I will briefly do a taxonomy of intrusion detection systems in two: anomaly detection and misuse detection. Misuse detection are the intrusion detection systems you probably work with. If you have an intrusion detection system on your network, whatever the price tag, whatever the brand, it's basically a misuse-based system. What does a misuse-based system do? It flags attacks by using descriptions of the attacks. So it tries to directly recognize attack activities. This is cool. It works very well. It's easy to implement. It's easy to sell. Gives actionable outputs. You obtain all the knowledge you need. You know that this type of vulnerability has been tried on this type of server, and guess what? This type of server now sends out recognition packets to other servers in your network. So you know everything you need in order to react. Unplug the server, do forensics, reinstall the machine. The problem is